consultant? John asked. It's Larry. Karen laughed. Uncle Stanley is paying him $10 a day to walk around the courtyard with a whistle. Larry, Jack groaned. The man who sold me a car without a floorboard is our security guard. That evening, Jack and Karen went for a walk on the pier. It was a perfect night of warm breeze, the sound of the waves, and no moths in sight. You know, Jack, Karen said, stopping by the railing, I know the truth. Jack froze. The truth. About the tundra? No. Karen laughed. About you. And the girls. I know you're not. What Uncle Stanley thinks you are. Jack gulped. You do. My Aunt Helen told me. She whispered. She said you're the best man she's ever met. Because you give up your own reputation just to help two friends keep their home. Jack looked at her, stunned. Mrs. Roper knows. She knows everything. Jack, she just likes watching Stanley be wrong. Karen leaned in and gave Jack a long, very unsafe kiss. That's for being a hero, she said. As they walked back to the apartment, Jack felt like he was walking on air. But the feeling vanished when he saw Larry Dallas standing by the front gate, blowing his whistle frantically. Stop right there, Larry shouted. Unauthorized affection in the courtyard. That's a $5 fine. Larry, go home. Jack sighed. Chapter 13, the grand finale, the building party. The season of chaos culminated in the first annual apartment 201 block party. Even though it was only for the building, the roommates went all out. Jack cooked for 3 days straight, creating a buffet that included everything from mini sofas to tundra tarts. Jana decorated the courtyard with hundreds of lilies and roses from the shop. Chrissy managed to hang a disco ball from the balcony without falling off. Everyone was there. The Ropers, wearing their best polyester. Larry, wearing a suit that was definitely stolen from a movie set. Karen, looking radiant. Even Officer Dalton stopped by to make sure no ghosts were attending. As the music played and the sun set over the Pacific, Jack looked around at his world. You know, he said to Jeanne and Chrissy, raising a glass of Chablis, we're a mess. We're liars, we're broke, and we're one bad plumbing job away from homelessness. But Jeanne prompted, smiling. But I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, Jack finished. To the trio, Chrissy said. To the trio, they all agreed. Stanley Roper walked over, holding a plate of Jack's food. Tripper, this French stuff isn't half bad. It almost tastes like real food. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Mr. Roper, Jack said. Don't get used to it, Stanley snapped. The rent is due on Monday, and I'm counting every penny. We'll be here, Stanley. Jack laughed. We'll always be here. In the light of the disco ball, the roommates danced. They were 3 people from different worlds, living a lie to keep a home. But in that moment, they were the truest thing in Santa Monica. And as the stars began to poke through the twilight, the city by the sea felt a little more like home. To be continued. Echoes of the gavel, tales from the bench. Chapter 1, The Weight of 17 Years. 17 years is not just a measure of time, it is an era. For April Johnson, 17 years was the rhythm of her heart walking on for pause. His name was Ice. He was a Jack Russell Terrier mixed with a Schnauzer, a 40-pound bundle of weary gray and white fur that had slowly faded into the frosted white of old age. He had been with April through the shifting seasons of her life, a silent, steadfast witness to her joys and a sponge for her tears. But on a damp, gray Friday in April, the rhythm stopped. April sat on the worn linoleum of her kitchen floor, cradling Ice's stiffening body in her lap. The house was suffocatingly quiet. There was no click-clack of nails on the hardwood, no raspy breaths from the dog bed in the corner, just a profound, crushing void. "My baby," she whispered, her voice cracking, rocking back and forth. "My sweet boy." She knew this day was coming. Ice had been sick, his senior body failing him day by day. But knowing the storm is coming never truly prepares you for the devastation of the wreckage. April reached for her phone with trembling hands. She had a plan for this. She had always promised Ice he would be cremated, placed in a beautiful urn, and kept on the mantel where the morning sun hit. She dialed the number for Faithful Friends cremation service. "I'm so sorry for your loss, ma'am," the compassionate voice on the other end said. "Unfortunately, because it is Friday afternoon, our drivers are already off duty for the weekend. We cannot perform a home pickup until Monday." Panic spiked in April's chest. Monday. But I can't keep him here until Monday. What do I do? "You can take him to an emergency veterinary center," the representative advised. "They have facilities to hold the remains over the weekend, and our driver can pick him up from there on Monday morning." April hung up, the reality of the situation bearing down on her. She couldn't lift Ice. At 40 pounds of dead weight, he was too heavy for her frail arms to carry to a car she didn't even have access to at the moment. She needed a favor, a big one. She scrolled through her contacts, her eyes blurring with tears, until she landed on Joel Clockey. Joel was her neighbor. They weren't exactly close friends. They didn't share backyard barbecues or deep secrets, but they were neighborly. He had given her rides to the store in the past, and he had a sturdy pickup truck. Wiping her eyes, she hit call. Across the street, Joel Clockey was wiping grease off his hands with a rag. He was a pragmatic man, a guy who worked hard, kept his head down, and valued his free time. When his phone buzzed and he saw April's name, he sighed, expecting a request for a lift to the grocery store. "Hello." "Joel," April sobbed, the sound raw and broken. "It's Ice. He's gone." Joel's posture softened. He had a dog of his own. He knew the bond. "Oh, April." I'm so sorry. Joel,